All right. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no doubt that microphone is live. Wow. I feel like the voice of some omnipotent being up here. That's impressive. So welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Apparently, migrating to Azure is kind of a big deal because there were a ton of registrations for this session. So I'm sure a lot of people have it marked for something that they want to go back and look at later. Thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. I'm Carl, and this is Lee Chun. We are going to be sharing the duties out here today and walk you all through data migration best practices, and we're going to cover several different types of migration. As I think you'll find a lot of sessions here this week that deal with virtual machine migration or migration to very specific services, like how do I migrate databases to Azure SQL, for example. We're trying to handle things all up and cover different data formats that you would wish to migrate to Azure. And this is certainly something that I see. I have been on the program management team for Azure Storage for a little over a year now. Lee Chun and I were talking about that. We joined the team about the same time. And prior to that, I was a TSP here on the Global Black Belt team, so I worked with a lot of customers who came to myself and my team, and really with these compelling events looking to migrate to Azure. Either there was time to reevaluate their infrastructure, they were up for renewal on hardware, maybe there was an edict that came down from up on high to consolidate data centers or get out of the data center business. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. That must have been in some CIO magazine because every senior manager says that. It had to have been. But these are all reasons that I heard. And the benefits, I mean, you hear this over and over again in public cloud conversations. It's time to market. You have assets on demand that are waiting for you to turn them on and activate them, right? You have issues with CapEx spend. You want to eliminate that and go to an OpEx model. And then maybe your business is changing and evolving into a worldwide global business, and you need the scale of all the data centers that we and the hyperscalers bring to bear. But you need to, look at that, auto forward. Gotta love when that happens. But you need the right tools to help you get there. Assessment tools, migration tools, and then after you've performed that migration, after you've committed to that new platform, you need the right tooling to help you keep an eye on it and manage it and report on it going forward. And there are several different approaches to migration. You'll hear the term lift and shift used a lot. That's basically taking what you have and moving it as is, right? You have a virtual machine-based application, you're going to move all those VMs. Or maybe they're physical and you're going to P2V them to the cloud. You've got a NAS environment that provides shared filed access across a set of applications. You need to move those infrastructures as they are. That's lift and shift, and for many, that's the easiest way and the quickest way to get to public cloud. But you'll see a lot of benefits from a cost perspective and a management perspective by looking at the other approaches, like refactoring and re-architecting, where you're adopting some as-a-service offerings. Maybe it's web apps, where you're moving away from managing a web server to managing the web site hosted on our infrastructure and app services. Maybe it's SQL or Postgres or MySQL as a service inside of Azure, where you don't have to manage those operating systems anymore. You're just managing the database instances. And really, this is what we see, right? It's these different platforms that apply to the different modes of moving to and adopting public cloud. Well, it all starts with assessing what you have. And there is a great suite of tools out there that help you answer these questions. If you want to move pieces of your environment, you need to know what's talking to what. That's really important. Early on, when I started on the Azure team 5 years ago, I had customers that would move an application and would have complaints about horrible performance. And it wasn't the infrastructure that was causing the problem. It was a piece of the puzzle. It was a piece of that application that was still on premises. That nobody knew that this AS400 app relied on a piece that had been moved up to the cloud. So now you have this round-trip traffic occurring over the express route connection or public internet connection, VPN, that is really slowing down that application performance. So understanding what's talking to what, how things are connected is really important. You need to look at opportunities to do cost savings. And some of our partners that I'm going to talk about, like Turbonomics, do a really good job of looking at places where you may have memory or CPU that's over-provisioned. Maybe you're running on storage media that's a little faster than what you need, and there are some opportunities to right-size your environment and save costs. And then again, where can you move websites to web apps? Where can you move databases to Azure SQL or Postgres or MySQL as a service and save some costs there? And one thing that we didn't talk about 5 years ago was what would you do with that content on your NAS appliances? What would you do with that data on NetApp or Dell EMC or Hitachi NAS? How could you get that into a public cloud environment and still make that accessible to all of your applications? And a Windows file server replacing those environments was typically not the answer. So we're going to focus on the assessment piece first, and I've got really three different categories of assessment partners here. Folks who will look at virtual machine and physical server environments and give you recommendations on how to move those. Some of these, like Corent and Cloud Atlas, will also provide examples of what you can move to PaaS services and save some costs there. And then our friends at NetApp have a great tool coming that I'm going to show you, Cloud Advisor, that there's no hyperlink up there for a reason. It's not out on the website yet, but this is something coming. I urge you to talk to your NetApp representatives or to your partner who works with you on your NetApp environment, and they can show you more around that. But some great partners up here, good links that you'll have in the presentation afterwards to go explore their offerings. And we're going to take a look at one of them right now with our friends from StrataZone. Look at that, like magic. You press a button and things happen. All right. So here is the StrataZone console. They were kind enough to give me access to this for this week. And a great tool here. So like really any assessment tool, you need something to collect data. So at your one or multiple sites, you can download their collector, deploy it, and have it discover your environment, and then end up with some really valuable information as you are making that, starting to make decisions on what can and should or should not move. So we all love dashboards. Dashboards are great, right? Show these to your managers. They love it. Pretty colors, pie charts. This is fantastic. Here are the servers that we've surveyed, and I'm going to explain more around the scoring, the high, medium, and low. But we know some details already about our all-up infrastructure and what and why we should make decisions to move things. So let's drill down a little bit here. You can see one of the important things that they look at is the age of the infrastructure. So how long has that asset been deployed? If you're looking at moving out of your data center into public cloud, a great idea to start with those systems that are coming end of life, right, from a support perspective. So we're going to drill a little further in here and take a look at some of these assessments. You can see that this will assess environments in public cloud and in your own data center, in your private cloud environment. We're going to spend some time here in good old Chicago. And we're going to take a look at the inventory of what we have in that Chicago data center. All right, so here's a whole bunch of servers that we went out, we collected some details on. Let's drill into one of those. And we can see here that we've got a great opportunity to migrate this machine. This is a very low I/O web server. This one I could probably run on my mobile phone and nobody would notice. We're clocking in at a whopping 75 IOs per second. We're pretty reasonable amount of memory utilization. We have not overcommitted that memory to this server. And from a CPU perspective, this machine is yawning on a regular basis. It's not doing a heck of a lot, right? So I know that this is one that I can move pretty easily. But if I want to make sure that I don't have that AS400 or that Z series connecting to this machine, I can go ahead and take a look at the dependencies. So we're going back to good old Chicago. Let's go back to our web server. And we can see that that has a back-end connection to a SQL Server instance, and then some unscanned devices, unknown devices that are connecting to it on the front end. So I can get details on those as far as the IP addresses, and lo and behold, there's an AS400 connecting to this box. So while it looked like low-hanging fruit to begin with, maybe I don't want to move this because of that reliance on the AS400. So you get some really valuable information as you go along here with this tool. And then I mentioned the fit, the profiling. So I can go in and define things that will help me set some of those soft parameters on whether or not this should move to Azure. Things like, is it going to be important for me to be able to easily move this out of Azure at some point for any reason? We hope that you won't do that, but for some reason, if you need to, yeah, I want to set that to, that is very important to me. And I'll show you in the details here exactly what that would mean. So let's take a look at our SQL Server. This is one that shows a medium fit for moving to Azure. So why is that set to medium? Well, one of the parameters is what I just highlighted. This SQL Server has a lot of storage attached to it. There's some gravity there with that data, right? That could make it a little difficult to get that out of public cloud. So Stratozone does a great job of flagging that for me, and I know that that's something that I need to consider. Now, it's easier and easier to move data in and out, but a nice thing to be made aware of, right? You've at least got that caveat thrown out there. So once you've done the assessment and you have all of these details about your environment, you can now go into the planning phase. And the planning phase allows me to take a look at what it will cost me to run this environment in Atlanta in Azure. And I can go ahead and customize the sizing to set CPU thresholds and things like that. They will automatically try to map you to the best Azure instance, the lowest cost Azure instance for your particular use case. And then what I end up with is, based on that auto matching, some cost estimations. So based on what has been entered into the tool about my current environment, it's going to cost me 3 years on-prem to manage this infrastructure, whereas if I move to Azure just with pay-as-you-go, that drops down to $1,300. And then if I move to 3-year reserved instance pricing, that drops down even further. Now, the great thing that they do is they tie into our pricing APIs. So what I can do is choose any Azure region around the world and have that pricing update for me dynamically. So let's say I was going to do this same thing in East Asia. That will go ahead, pull the numbers, and give me what the cost would be to run this exact environment inside of our East Asia data center. Okay, so that's a quick tour of Stratozone, one of our assessment tools. Sorry, pardon me. Got this cold that just won't go away. And now we're going to focus on the file assessment side. So great tool to assess your applications, your virtual and physical servers, but what about your file infrastructure? And that's where NetApp's upcoming Cloud Advisor tool comes into the picture. And initially, this is a tool that will evaluate your existing NetApp deployment and give you great suggestions and great ideas of what you can move and what that cost will look like to move it. So now we're going to take a look at a quick video of what that looks like. I am a big fan of live demos, as you just saw, but live demos of something that is not yet production, I'm only so gutsy, right? So we did a recording of this. My thanks to the guys at NetApp for doing this. You can see that this profiles in a couple of different ways. So I can view my storage systems and what I have deployed there, or I can view the applications that are deployed on that storage system, on that NetApp array. And what this allows me to do is look at the volumes and the names of those volumes to pick up keywords to identify things like, I see a volume that starts with ORA, that is probably an Oracle database volume. Pick that out, throw that in the database category, and then I can drill down further and see exactly how much capacity on my NetApp array is attributed to that Oracle database infrastructure. Then it does some other great things. It gives me the ability to compare and contrast with other cloud file services. We are really thrilled about our partnership. We love what we're doing with Azure NetApp Files, and we want you to have a good view of what the different offerings bring to the table. This will also set expectations on what the cost will be to run this infrastructure in Azure. And what you're seeing here is to-be-determined pricing. This is in the beta that we're putting together, so don't hold too much in what you just saw there. But the great thing about this tool is it gives you a lot of information about your own environment based on how you're using it from a performance perspective, how much capacity is there, and whether the application profile is a good fit for moving to Azure NetApp Files or not. And in Lee Chun's session, we're going to show you exactly how you would go ahead and move that file data from your on-premises NetApp environment into Azure NetApp Files. But this is a great tool and something that your NetApp partners and your NetApp engineers will be able to work through with you to help you discover what is the best way to integrate that NAS infrastructure with Azure. Okay. And now VM migration. So we're going to talk about this, then we'll move into file data migration and NAS style migration, and then finish up with database migration. But really, with server migration, the biggest thing is knowing those dependencies, what's connected to what. Being able to group those dependent servers together. And that's what tools like Stratazone and Azure Migrate can help you do. And really, you want a migration engine that has a tremendous amount of orchestration. The worst thing in the world is having to do a bunch of manual steps as you're moving from one location to the other. I know that as a former guy who did that for most of his career. Automation is key. And never forget about the networking. Networking is a little different in Azure or any public cloud than it is on premises. So understanding what VNets offer, what network security groups offer, understanding the fundamentals of networking is really key to being successful with that migration. And we have tremendous partners in this space as well, all focused on server migration, virtual and physical, any-to-any, some really, really great offerings here. And we are going to show you one now in the form of our friends at Cloud Endure. One of the things that you'll see in this demo, and one thing that I really like about Cloud Endure, is the fact that it literally is any-to-any migration. So in our case, we are going to show the migration of EC2 VMs to Azure. This could easily be virtual machines or physical servers that you have running in your data center. These can be virtual machines running on KVM or Xen. This literally is an any-to-any replication tool. Disaster recovery, not just migration, but we're going to take a look at the migration component here. So what we are doing is going ahead and kicking off a cutover of a machine that is running in AWS to Azure. So that's going to take a couple of minutes, literally a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to take a little tour of the console here. Really easy to use software. Ridiculously easy to perform this migration activity. It's literally a couple of clicks like you saw there. And we, rather than watching the paint dry and keeping an eye on the job progress, we're going to go in and play around a little bit in the console. So very, very intuitive and friendly. Everything is done in terms of jobs that you create and define. We've got a few that are defined here, and we're going to show you an example of creating a net new one. That's as easy as selecting create, and then we fill in a few parameters. And when this is done, we choose the VMs or the physical servers that we want to be part of this project. And in our case, again, we're focusing on migration, but this could be a replication for disaster recovery between your on-premises environment and Azure, or between two different Azure regions or two different public clouds. Sorry. The cold that just won't go away. You gotta love it when you have kids. That's they go back to school and you get all the germs and viruses, and it's fantastic. So we can keep an eye on our state here in a number of different ways. We can go up and view that log to see what's happening. We'll see our end state in the interface change. You can see that we're making progress here. We have network activity happening, network cutovers. This will be done in just a second. And in the meantime, I have a full audit report log as well. So you can show that the migration was successful at the end. You can produce a report. You can show how long it took to migrate one machine or multiple machines. Really friendly, easy to use software, and it integrates with all of our functionality in Azure. So this is a tool that gives you the capability to customize your migration and move to managed disks as that end state for the storage for the VM. Really, really easy to use, intuitive, very flexible. And at this point, we can see our icon on the far right there has changed, and our migration to Azure is complete. So our last step is to take a look in the portal, make sure that that machine is running, and this migration was indeed successful. And spoiler alert, it's going to be. So there we go. In 2 minutes, 2-minute time to migrate that machine from EC2 to Azure. And you can see all the steps there that were initiated and completed. And that was pretty fast. There we go, up and running in South Central US. All right. So we're going to move back now and shift to the topic of file data migration. And Lee-Chun's got some awesome nuggets of knowledge here to share.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Lee-Chun. And in the following slides, we're going to focus on the file data migration from on-premise to Azure storage. One thing to note is that I'm not trying to make black and white recommendation in the following sections. In fact, I'm just trying to show you a framework, a list of checkboxes that my colleagues, my team, when they are helping real customers in the past few years to migrate from their on-premise into Azure storage, what are some of the factors that they have thought about? And I thought that might be helpful to just list them out here. And some of the advice are going to be pretty honest. So the first natural question that comes into mind might be, what is the destination for the migration? You know, there are different services in Azure storage. At least there's file and blob. Well, to answer the question, it really depends on what is your use case. You know, what do you migrate the data into the cloud for? Now, to start with, take a look at what is a characteristic of the two different layers. Right? If you're using blob, on average, it is cheaper than files. There are many tiers in object storage. Number two, it scales much better. You know, it is optimized for large data sets. On the other hand, for file storage, it is great for lift and shift. It's just traditional file system protocols. Your traditional application on-prem can easily be migrated into a VM in Azure and then just have a file share attached to it and use. As a result, there's also a lot more tools that is facilitating the hybrid experience between your on-premise file server and the cloud side of the file share. Now, with that, then if you're just looking to back up or archiving your data, even if the data is created through traditional file system protocol, you can still just put it into the object store because it's much cheaper, and you can always rehydrate it into a hotter tier with higher performance, or rehydrate it into some sort of VM where your app is running later on to optimize your costs. And next is that if you're looking to build a modern application, or if you're just looking to build any application on the cloud from scratch, we always recommend you to start with the REST protocol, to start with the blob storage. There are a lot more of these modern app services. Let's say if you're using any big data analytics, or if you want to use our cognitive services API, machine learning APIs, they're typically integrated better with the blob storage at this point. And then, of course, lastly, if you are, on the other hand, really just looking to lift and shift your application, your primary data in a short time, then file is always a good option. OK, so enough about the destination. I'm not intending to give you the full positioning between the different services here. This is really a high level of bullet point that may not do the full justice. However, now in the rest of the slides, we'll look at in details some of the checkboxes that we have asked our past customers. The first thing you think about is take a look at the data you try to migrate. What is the total data size? Obviously, that's going to impact your end-to-end migration time, which I think most of you would care the most about when you think about migration. However, another thing that not very obvious is look at the characteristic of the files itself. Do you have a lot of small files, or do you have just a few large files? Because there are different tools that is optimized for these different characteristics of data set, and the time it takes is very, very different if you happen to pick the wrong tool. So from the Azure, from Microsoft, for large files, AC copy is a very great option. There is a upcoming, I think it is a version 10 AC copy coming out. It has great improvements in concurrency. So it's a really great tool to check out for large files. But on the other hand, if you have lots of small files, there's another tool called Fast Data Transfer from MS Garage. That would be really great to check out too. So the next thing to think about is bandwidth. If you're thinking about, do you want to transport over the wire, offline, we'll have a more detailed comparison list later. But in general, you do want to evaluate is transferring over the wire is an option. And the first thing you look at is, what's the bandwidth? Now, the key, though, is usually when we think about this, we just think about what's the bandwidth of the pipe. But in reality, the ultimate bandwidth you get is limited by the smallest bottleneck. And sometimes it can just be the NIC, the bandwidth of the NIC on your data source, especially if your hardware has been around for a while. Some older SAN or NAS box, you may just have like 1 or 4 gig of NIC. It happens. And that becomes your bandwidth, actually. So that's one thing good to note. Another thing to note about bandwidth is it doesn't always have to be about the bandwidth in your on-premise location. Do you have a colo that you can maybe just, for that one-time initial data ingestion, temporarily move your hardware into that colo for half or 1 month, and then utilize the better bandwidth that you can purchase from there and migrate the data from there? That is always an option too. So the next few things to think about, one is data security integrity. Is your data being encrypted when it is transferred over the network? Most of the tools would include encryption. And this is very common if you use HTTPS. Usually it is pretty secure. But it is still good to check. Not all tools provide automatic encryption in transit. The second thing is about checking data integrity. It's always good to check it once before you send the data out. Check again, look at the checksum again after you receive it. Again, most tools would have this built-in, like AC copy and fast data transfer that I mentioned. They have this functionality built in. But if you are choosing to write your own data migration application, you can make use of our Azure Storage has a data migration library. You can write your own app to do so. It's good to have these on your checklist. Be sure to make the calls that do the encryption and also the data integrity checks. Next thing, migration time. Now here, what I really want to point out is about do you actually have a deadline to migrate the data? Sometimes we see customers who want to migrate to Azure for their, let's say, DR secondary site, which is a very common scenario. And usually they have contracts with the buildings they're renting out or whatnot. There's actually a deadline for them as a data migration deadline. And really that should be the first priority in the rest of your decision making when you do prioritization. Another thing to think about, which may not be obvious, which protocol you use does impact your end-to-end migration time. Specifically, because if you compare between REST protocol and the traditional file system protocol, their default packet size, the maximum packet size, is very different. File systems protocol usually have a much smaller packet size with probably the same amount of overhead, and therefore, it's a lot more chatty in that way. You have to send a lot more packages in order to complete the same data set migration. And so the end-to-end time especially if you're looking at over a network with a certain latency, the end-to-end time can be much longer. So that's another good thing to note. Lastly, we always suggest our customers to just pause the data writes at the data source. When you migrate the data, if app consistency, if that is priority for you, always make sure to do that. If you really needed zero RPO, near zero RPO style migration, take a look at, just try maybe the live migration tool instead. Okay, so there's a few more interesting comparison people usually ask us, and I want to give some honest advice here too. One is between the option of offline data transport, for example, like the data box family that we have, versus just transporting the data over the wire, which one to pick. So a good rule of thumb is for offline data transport, it is usually meant for if you have too much data but not enough bandwidth. It is a good option when bandwidth is really, really, really not an option. Another thing people usually ask is that, well, would it be much faster to transport the data over data box, for example? So one thing to consider is Azure will be very efficient in sending you the devices, making sure it arrives at the dock, at your data center on time. But then you also need to arrange your own team to make sure you pick up the box at the door, and from there, you arrange the logistic, make sure that, from your team, copying the data into the box, giving it back to Azure, wait for it to be shipped. When it arrives at Azure, after the data is copied back into your cloud account, the end-to-end time can be comparable. And at this point, again, it's not a black and white recommendation I'm trying to give. If you take a look at a total data size, see if you can do an analysis on both and compare the end-to-end time. One more thing is, in general, probably transferring over the wire is lower cost. Really, it's probably mostly free if you already have decent bandwidth in your network. One more thing to compare is, what about ExpressRoute? Should you always consider using ExpressRoute instead of over the internet? So the thing is, ExpressRoute is designed with a few great value propositions. It will be good to evaluate if those propositions are something that matters for you in a one-time initial data ingestion. So ExpressRoute is great when you need a private IP space, and usually for the purpose of security. But like I said, you actually have very easy option to just encrypt the data if you want to transfer it over the internet. It is one-time data ingestion. It doesn't make it any less safe compared to using a private IP space provided by ExpressRoute. Another thing that ExpressRoute provides is it has a SLA on latency, and it is predictable. You know this latency, and it would always be this latency. Versus over the internet, what happened is there would be some sort of latency that lasted for about, let's say, 2 months or so, and then maybe you measure it again later on, your latency can vary to like 5x of the time. Yes, so there's a much bigger fluctuation in terms of latency on the internet, but it doesn't happen overnight, typically. And it probably doesn't happen within 1 or 2 weeks either. So what that means is, again, consider what is the end-to-end time of your data transfer. If we're talking about just the very first one-time initial transfer, you may not need to worry about a predictable latency too much. One more thing is, in terms of cost, it's likely going to be cheaper to get a bigger pipe from your public internet provider compared to paying for the ExpressRoute circuit and the gateway just for the initial data ingestion into the cloud. So if you have forgotten about everything that I just said in the last 10 minutes, perhaps you can still walk away with this one slide. So we have talked about, take a look at the data size, take a look at your bandwidth. What you are trying to do is probably draw a chart like this. everything looks better in the quadrant. Really, ask Gartner. So basically, if you have a relatively manageable data set size, then over the wire is probably always a good idea. I would say the sweet spot to consider, do I need a offline data transport, is at about 10 terabyte. That just happened to be the size of the smallest offering from DataBox family, which is called the DataBox disk. I think right now they have about 4 or 8 terabyte of disk that you can use. Now, once your data gets into a pretty big size, then you just look at the bandwidth. Is it an option for you to get more bandwidth? If it is, still, I think just migrating over the internet can still be a pretty good option. A few more things we talk about. One, always encrypt. Always make sure that you encrypt your data. Make sure that you have the integrity checks before and after the migration. Note the migration deadline that you might have. Pick the appropriate protocol. REST API has a better performance over network with larger latency. And then always pause the data source when you are doing the migration. Okay, so here is some of the migration solution from Microsoft and also from our wonderful partners. We have talked about AC copy and fast data transfer. So those two are from Microsoft. And then we're going to see a demo from our friends, NetApp. For that, I will just hand it over back to Carl.
Excellent. Thanks, Lee-Chun. Yeah, so the guys at NetApp were kind enough to record this for us. Witty anecdotes at the bottom are me. I do have to take credit for that. And what we're showing here is NetApp Cloud Sync, which is a really flexible tool allowing you to copy files really from any source to any destination. And as Lee-Chun mentioned, copying files to blob storage, object storage is a very different activity. It uses different protocols, typically different tools. What you'll see here in the Cloud Sync demo is Cloud Sync can actually help you do that. This is a highly optimized copy utility. It's actually run as a service. This is a software as a service offering. And you can choose your source and target after deploying your data mover agents in locations and have this highly parallelized, efficient copy occur from any source to any destination. And in our case, we're copying files from Amazon ZFS to Azure NetApp files. Again, this can be anything, on-premises NAS, on-premises file servers, to Azure NetApp files, to Azure Blob Storage, if that's the right use case for that data set. You know, we've got some tremendous flexibility here with this solution. And once you have the agents deployed and they know about the infrastructure that you want to copy from, it really is drag and drop, point and click simple to make sure that you're going from the place you want to leave to the place you want to go to with all of those files. So great demo here. These will be posted as well out to a site that I will give you a link to. I'm going to move along here so we can get through the rest of our content. So moving databases is something that you can do if they're virtual machine-based and you're performing a lift and shift migration. If you're moving from virtual machines or physical servers to IaaS, you can use tools like Zerto and Azure Site Recovery and Cloud Endure to move those databases. If you're moving to databases as a service, you need something else. And that's where Azure Database Migration Service is one offering that will help you do that. And you can see that this is something that is GA for the SQL instances in Azure. We're currently in preview with Postgres and MySQL, and a really flexible utility that helps you get to that managed database model inside of Azure. But thankfully, we've got a whole bunch of partners that help as well, because the one thing you didn't see there was semi-structured data sets, big data. And we've got some great partners here that can help in this realm. And I am going to show you what our friends from WANDisco have to offer. And WANDisco does a tremendous job of offering replication from one site, on-premises to cloud, or cloud to cloud, region to region. They offer live replication of data. You can actually have a multi-master model where there's more than one active copy of the data. This is a really, really cool set of technology, if I can get to it. There we go. Bring that up, and let's switch over and take a look at what WANDisco brings to the table. And really, really flexible. This is a utility if you're looking at how you get your data into Azure Data Lake Storage. This is a tool that can do that. So let's take a look here at the quick demo that the folks at WANDisco put together for us. So here we are moving from an on-premises cloud environment or a Cloudera environment, synchronizing data to Azure Data Lake Store, where it will then be accessible to HD Insight, all of the services inside of Azure that can use that content. So here we're showing the live replication. We've got our on-premises Cloudera up and running. It's happy. We are going to go ahead and create a rule inside of WANDisco that will allow us to synchronize directories of our choosing that contain the source data. In this case, we're going to grab some from Hive. And set up that sync relationship. And then, once that is set up, that takes just a second. We are now going to go back and put some actual data in that directory, ingest it into Hive, and be able to then see that synchronize in really near real time to Azure. So we're going to ingest our text file there, put a little bit of structure around that. So name our two fields. All right, that's done. That's ingested. And now let's verify that that's in both locations. That's both available in our on-premises Cloudera environment and in Azure as well. So we're going to verify there's that file that's been ingested. Let's switch over to Azure and look in Azure Data Lake Store. And there it is. So really, this is a cool technology because not only is it something that can help you migrate big data sets to Azure, but it can also help you from a resiliency and redundancy perspective. This is a synchronization and disaster recovery solution as well. So big fan of WANDisco. They've got some cool technology there. We have customers who come to us and say, you know, I've got a bunch of legacy data that's sitting here. Maybe it's videos that I need to just archive for a period of time. Maybe it's call recordings. How can I get this data that's just stagnant up to Azure in an efficient way? And you heard Lee Chun mention our DataBox family. That is absolutely a way to do that. The family grew, and we have sample hardware out there on the floor. We've got great integration with our partners in the backup and file management space. So you can integrate easily with their solutions and use this as a way to offline seed. And then beyond that, we have a partnership with Equinix. So I'd recommend stopping by their booth if you have some really large data sets and would like to hear about how they can help you get those data sets into Azure. They've got some really cool offerings, private cages. You can actually bring your equipment and ingest it using their connectivity to Azure. And then folks who can help you with the heavy lifting. So those cases that I mentioned of media customers that have a lot of legacy media on tape or on optical disc, or you've got a lot of backup data, historical backup data that you need to keep for 7 years, but you don't want those tapes around anymore. These are partners that we work with that can help you get that data into Azure and will do the heavy lifting for you and include chain of custody in terms of making sure that data gets in the right place. And I cannot leave out our partners that can help you with an all-up migration strategy and migration project. We've got tremendous partners here. I've got friends in the audience from Sirius, Computer Solutions, and our other partners that you see up there. These are folks that can help you with all of the tough pieces, not just the data movement, but governance, security, network best practices, all the things that really matter when you're migrating to public cloud. We talked about data migration today, how to get different types of data into Azure, but there's a lot more that comes with it when you're adopting public cloud in a meaningful way. So these partners can help you on that journey. They have the security, the networking expertise. They've got the skills to make sure that you get this done right the first time. Highly recommend that you work with a good partner. And we're here to help as well. You know, we've got Fast Track for Azure. They've got a booth out there in the deployment area in the Azure section of the expo. Fast Track is a great service that can help you on your way as well. Highly recommend stopping by there, and they can point you to the partners that I mentioned on the last slide, and then we can offer some advisory help there as well. So the migration sessions, there were way too many. I could not choose a small enough font to put on this slide in a table. So there's 2 links to everything that had migrate and migration in the keywords. There's a ton. Azure Migration Center, all of the partners that I've highlighted are there. And then do me a favor, check out aka.ms/storagebytes. That is our video channel on azure.com where we feature all of our storage partners. And we've got some great interviews, C-level executives, and then also a lot of live demos and presentations and conversations that would be fun to listen to. And then finally, tomorrow evening, we are hosting a little social event downstairs in 208-209. You can pick your tickets up there now, and we'd love to see you. Come and break some bread with us. All right, we will be here for questions. Thank you all very much. I finished just as that thing blinked red, so boom.